Hi everyone, Kelt here, bringing you my thoughts on the British royal family and Harry and Meghan. But today I'm talking about King Charles. Something strange seems to be happening with King Charles III, and I'm not sure that we're getting the whole story. Tens of thousands of organisations in the UK have completely rejected his official portrait. And remember the red painting of him? It's totally freaking people out. I did a video on it. And now today, the explosion on London Bridge, it's just got people talking. So on X, people are saying that the monarchy is dying, or worse, that Charles is betraying us. Some even swear that he doesn't look like himself anymore. That's something that I've always pointed out. There are really quite big differences there. So, what is going on? Let's have a look. First, the snub of the portrait. After Charles's coronation in May 2023, the government spent £2.3 million, which is $3.4 million, to offer free framed photographs of Charles in his naval uniform to schools, hospitals, churches, you name it. They thought he'd be this grand symbol of unity, but 46,000 institutions, 69% of those eligible, said no. Only 20,000 took the offer, and the hospitals, just 3% bothered, and universities, it was 7%. Even the Church of England, where Charles is the head, saw only a quarter of parishes hang his picture. The Coast Guard, weirdly, was all in. Every one of their 23 spots took one. But 46,000 rejections. That is not just disinterest. That feels like a statement. People on X are saying it's proof that the monarchy is losing its grip, and maybe they're onto something. So why the rejection? Of course, the cost hits hard, £8 million total by some estimates, when schools are underfunded and people are struggling to pay bills. One ex-user put it bluntly, they're spending millions on a king's photo while we can't heat our homes. But there's more. Some feel that this push to plaster Charles's face everywhere has an odd feeling. Almost like something you'd see in a regime, not a democracy. When the government won't even say which places took the portraits, citing negative public perception, you have to wonder, what are they hiding? Are they scared that we'll see how little faith people have in Charles? And now let's talk about that red painting. Unveiled in May 2024 by artist Jonathan Yeo, it shows Charles in the Welsh Guards uniform drowning in this intense red background with a butterfly over his shoulder. It was supposed to represent his transformation into king and his environmental passion. Many were pointing out that the butterfly represented monarch control, and you'll have to look that up yourself. Others were saying the red was very much like blood. But the reaction, it was absolutely full on. On X, people were calling it demonic, saying it looks like he's burning in hell. Others said it's the worst royal portrait ever. Even fans admitted that the red feels wrong, too harsh for Charles's soft-spoken image. And then there's this weird thread on X. Some people swear that he doesn't even look like Charles in it. For instance, the face is off, almost staged. And I've said this before. I know it sounds a bit out there, but when you see the painting, it's hard not to question what is actually going on. Is it just art pushing boundaries, or is something deeper being signalled? So that brings us to today's London Bridge explosion on August the 14th, 2025. I don't have all the details yet, but reports are calling it a major incident with emergency services swarming in the area. On X, some are saying that it's a random attack, others hint at public anger boiling over. The timing is strange. People are already frustrated. Economic struggles, rising taxes, a monarchy that feels totally out of touch. And one ex-post read, "Explosion on London Bridge while Charles sits in his palace. Wake up, Britain. It's like the incident is a spark for bigger questions about what's happening in the UK and who's really in charge." Could this unrest be linked to the same distrust fueling the portrait rejections? So why are people so fed up with Charles? It's not just the portraits. The economy's a mess, cost of living crisis, NHS wait times, schools are scraping by, and yet the monarchy's wealth just sits there untouched, while Charles jets around for environmental causes. Don't get me wrong, climate is important, but ex-users call him a hypocrite, pointing to his private planes. One post said, "He preaches green while burning 10 tons of fuel to visit a garden. His cancer diagnosis in 24 got some sympathy, but even that's drowned out by accusation that he's out of touch or worse, a traitor. Some are pointing out even worse than that, more than a traitor, a totally different type of person to what most believe that he is. Some claim that he's pushing agendas that don't align with British values, though they're vague on details. It's less about hard proof and more about a feeling. Charles is not the leader that people hoped for. Then there's this unsettling idea that he's not himself anymore. Beyond the red painting, people keep saying that Charles looks different, tired, distant, not the same person we saw as Prince of Wales. I totally agree with this. I don't think he's looked the same in years. Some point to his public appearances, others to photos, saying that his eyes or demeanour seem off. And this is not just aging, normal aging. People age and you still know it's them. This is really something that's off. So I'm not saying that it's true. But when you combine that with the portrait snub and a painting that looks like it belongs in a horror movie, you start to wonder, is Charles just struggling under the crown's weight, or is there something bigger at play here? So, is there something going on? Is this just a rough patch, or is the monarchy crumbling? Let me have your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.